Well, before we took the break, we had put out a video in which aired during the time period of the break, where we discussed, it was one of two videos of stuff that's been going on in New York City. One of them happens to be to the point, where you have homeless drug addicts, how can we say, pleasuring themselves, self-gratifying themselves on the streets of New York. And this is out in the open. And basically, the police have been trying to resolve the situation, but still, you got to remember, this is in the middle of New York, in front of families, children. I mean, this is what's been going on for quite some time. And, the mental health issue in New York has been in the crosshairs. And this administration hasn't done really enough to handle what is going on out there, because basically they've thrown all the money into illegal migration, the people that have come here, that's basically taking over hotels. And you've seen what's happened on the opposite end of the country in Aurora, where you have gangs that have set themselves up similar to something like out of the movie New Jack City, where they've taken over not one but two housing complexes on there. And how the city and state has been handling it, where to the point whether it's a nothing burger here. They try to distract people from knowing about this, but the stuff is all over the internet. Another thing that has been pushed to the side. Luckily, we've had newspapers like the New York Post that have been discussing this, and shows like this where we've discussed this as well. Now you're seeing homeless couples having sex, and this is below the FDR Drive. Now, if you're not familiar with the FDR Drive, it is one of the major highways that stretches from the tip of Manhattan, that's all the way down by the Wall Street area, goes through Manhattan, up through Harlem, and to the edge of the Bronx. And, you skip into a bridge and you're into the Bronx itself. But see, the thing about it is, through all this mileage on there, you're seeing homeless people encamped below the FDR Drive on themselves. And a new low now is that you see couples having sex on there. This is not regular people on there. This is homeless people that it's happening to. Homeless couple filmed having sex in parking lot under NYC's FDR Drive, a new low for the city. A parking lot beneath the FDR Drive it just steps away from the East River Greenway, where kids walk to school and locals train for marathons, has descended into a hotbed of homeless sex, repugnant X-rated footage obtained by the New York Post.
Oh, that's not right. No.
On August 22nd, from the late afternoon rush hours through nightfall, a bearded man repeatedly bumped uglies with pantless women lying atop of a gray mattress situated next to a bike parked tractor trailer. Trio videos showed. A couple having sexual intercourse on the sidewalk was a new low for the city for me, an angst 34-year-old local who had recorded the interaction told the Post, adding that the shocking sight, combined with the July fatal stabbing at the East 14th Street near Avenue A, has him considering moving to the Upper West Side. I've lost track of the amount of people shitting on the sidewalk, screaming for help on the sidewalk during a recent visit to the site. The Post observed a homeless couple lingering near a tent and sharing a cigarette, while a vagrant violently chucked an aerosol can as well as a neck pillow from his collection of sullied belongings. Locals bemoaned the daylight debauchery as a symptom of the area's decay, particularly given how close it is to the waterfront pathway, which is regularly used by bikers and joggers as well as families out for a stroll. New York is getting bad with the homeless having sex in public, as a dog walker, Tiffany Opal, 30, who had recently seen a homeless man receiving Gratification from a woman near East 14th Street and 5th Avenue. It is dangerous if you're having sex in public. Something is wrong in your mind, she added. It is a scary thing. Yet, some shrugged it off as al fresco escapades. People are more concerned about the homeless guys having sex than having something to eat, said the banker Rodrigo Cam, 23. One homeless woman claimed to have seen a couple in action, scrunched her face when recalling the carnal activity. Some people have no class, she fumed. Just because you're homeless doesn't mean you have to act that way. The NYPD did not receive any complaints about the public sex on the 22nd, spokesman says. But see, the thing is, and how much you want to say, and it's not only sex, and people say, well, they need food and stuff like that. But see, the thing is, everything to help the homeless has been diverted. The funds that they would get to help them has been diverted to illegal migration. And of course, some of the situation is that some of these people have mental issues. As much as New York says, oh, we need to help them and stuff like that, Mayor Adams and his administration and Governor Kathy Hochul up in Albany have done nothing to resolve the situations here in New York. I grew up in the 70s and 80s when the homeless population was a major issue here, where the point where, you couldn't walk down a subway and not smell piss in the subways on there, or vomit, or seeing people act very weird, drugs, to the situation, and even on the street corners. There were times in the building where I grew up in, and at that time, my family were the superintendents on there. We would have situations where we would have to go down, and someone in the main hallway before getting into the building, or they got into the building itself, was sleeping in our hallways. And we would have to get them up and get them out of there because the cops didn't come on time. Sometimes we get the cops there, sometimes we didn't. But I'll tell you, we would have to go in and mop up the whole place because they've either pissed or defecated into the place, and we would have to clean it up. But it also made a danger because there were families in this building. I mean, my own family, we had a large family. There were several children besides me, my brother, my cousins. We were, we're all kids at the time when this happened. And there were other kids in the building, and there were elderly people living in the building too. They could have been attacked to the situation. Here we are in 2024, we're back at it again. Yes, that's right. We're back at it. And if you're not familiar with the area they're talking about around the 14th Street area, there's been a lot of crime. Now, the police have escalated their forces into the area itself to try to clean up the place. My own mother, had stopped going to church in that neighborhood because of all the high crime. And we're talking, and the church is only on 2nd Avenue. 14th Street and 2nd Avenue. This is a highly traveled area with a lot of people, a lot of vehicles, trucks during the daytime, whether it's 7 days a week. It's not that far from the hospital, which in tow, Beth Israel Hospital is being shut down because basically they can't afford to stay open. And that's the last hospital to handle the Lower East Side. Once they shut down, the only hospital nearest that they'll handle it will be Bellevue, and they're overrun. And guess what? The people that they're handling it, a lot of them happen to be non-citizens as well. And the reason I know that is from experience, because when my wife, she had her stroke, and basically this was the time when she was working in the city. They put her into Bellevue, and all her appointments were on there. We would go there, and I'll tell you this, there'd be a lineup of people to be checked in to see the doctors. And our appointment may be 1 p.m. We get there about 11:30, and it'll be 2 o'clock before we're checked in. Think about that, and think about how many people are waiting at that point. 45 minutes to well over 1 to 2 hours to be checked in by the hospital so you can get to your appointment. And all you have to do, and I'll tell you this, if you want yourself, if you're in the New York area, go to the Bellevue Hospital and sit in the business office right as you walk in, which handles all the billing and all that, when customers go into, patients go in to pay their bills. Listen to the people that are going in there, and you'll hear it. It says, do you have Blue Cross Blue Shield? Do you have insurance? Is that, no, I'm not from this country. You'll see that a lot. And of course, the hospital have to take a percentage of the hit, or it would come from some other source, from other sources, which basically is tax funded. Understand that. And getting back to what is going on with the homeless, remember, these people, they've had it rough. They've lost their place to live, and nobody is helping them. And, a lot of them have dove into mental issues, into depression and all that, and they're living on the streets with no help. They're putting up illegal migrants into hotel rooms, into encampments, and leaving our own people. And some of them are veterans. Some of them are people who've worked very well and paid their taxes on time and stuff like that, and they've delved into situations. This must stop. This has to change. Remember, elections are around the corner. Presidential. And for those of you in New York, the mayoral elections are just sometime after that. I think it's next year, I think it is. It's coming up. Know who you are voting for. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but remember this little situation. Some of the candidates that are out there have done the job they're supposed to, and some have not. Listen to how they're talking about today, that they want to help the people. Help, joy. When you hear this, the rhetoric they're throwing out, this is the kind of rhetoric that basically communists, socialists, well, actually communists and socialism are the same thing, but people who want to keep control of the masses will tell you, look at the streets of New York, look at the streets of Seattle, Los Angeles, San Diego, Aurora, Colorado. Look at what is going on in these cities. A lot of these cities are, they're run by liberal policies. And you say, so, well, the Republicans are better. I didn't say the Republicans were any better. But sure enough, their cities are thriving better than what the liberal cities are going through. You have more and more people leaving New York, leaving California in droves. And I hear people like Tim Pool and a couple others say, leave these cities. Don't stay there. I say, don't do that. Stay and fight. And I'll tell you this, already here on Staten Island, New York, they're already beginning to fight back. Our own police force here is starting to fight against shoplifters. They are now putting task force here on Staten Island, going to the root of all of these.
Retail theft is something that we all pay for. We pay for it in the prices. We pay for it in every way possible.
Getting to the stores has been tremendous for us.
Yeah.
NYPD Assistant Chief Joseph Galata and his team here on Staten Island launched a retail theft task force.
This has been so effective that we're going to keep going.
Here in Staten Island, Chief Galata says shoplifting is viewed not just as a crime that affects a business, but a public safety issue.
If you're going to go buy a dress or back to school shopping or pick up a prescription, and you see someone walking in and taking thousands of dollars worth of items and just walking out, that's a public safety issue. You're not going to feel safe in your own community.
The first step, neighborhood coordination officers went into the community and stores, from national chains to mom and pop spots.
They are building relationships in the community. You want them to have that relationship with the store owners.
Store employees and business owners encouraged to report shoplifting, large or small.
Shoplifters and what is going on. They're starting to communicate with the shopkeepers and the big businesses on here. And that's here in Staten Island, and trying to create a database where they could send it outward to other jurisdictions, other parts of the borough, which need it as well. So remember that. Think about that for situations that are going on and how it is being handled. Remember that the next time you're in a voter's booth. And I'll tell you this, don't send it in by mail. Vote in person. Pull out that ID, identify yourself, and tell people, I'm proud here to vote for. Don't be afraid to say who you're voting for. In fact, it's nobody's business who you voted for to begin with, but be proud to who you vote for onto the situation. If you think that they're going to give you a better perspective of, New York or the country itself. Just remember that. Remember, and if you're proud for the person that's right now in office on there, remember what they've done already as well. Remember that. And think going forward who you're going to vote for in this election. So tell me in the comments below your thoughts about this. This is a major situation, and I need you to like and share this video because I don't know if this is going to get shadow banned or to the situation. We've had a couple of these stories be put on the back burner to the situation on this particular social media site on YouTube, but on our Rumble page, we've had a better viewership to it. So, like, share, comment, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. So be sure, if you haven't subscribed here on YouTube, please do that. It helps us. And if you haven't yet on our other social media platforms like Rumble, do that as well. Thank you for the support. We'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.